شنو دار بيه.
Great to meet you. Walk with you.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. But firefighters entering a burning house will one day save time when lives are on the line. Visualizing a patient's most recent scan will help speed up decision-making in the ER. And while the woolly mammoth is still extinct, that doesn't mean students can't take field trips to visit them. The metaverse may be virtual, but the impact will be real.
And why is everything 1730 in the football? Is there just nothing to do? Is it just
Yeah, I would imagine.
Travel
Yeah.
time.
It's a shit dungeon, yeah.
Yeah.
God. Just so
Yeah, they
bad,
all
but like,
pretty
like
much the same.
if you see
Shadow
such
Moon
so small
too.
differences between like the best and the worst teams in like one dungeon,
Yeah.
they know something's like wrong. There's just not much room for optimizations, especially if the affixes are easy.
They definitely, for all the people who complain that the game is designed with, well, this is a dog shit take, but like esports in mind and, you know, MDI in mind, bro. There ain't no way that No Code Offensive was designed with competitive dungeon doing in mind. There's no way, man. It's like the opposite of that.
Like King's Rest back in the day.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
It's like the lore dungeon, you know? There,
I'm missing out on the games.
I think the only optimization we did in King's Rest was like when we started doing the fire guy on the bridge that was doing the beam. That we added him on top of the boss. That's when it became a little bit rough, but it was possible because we found out the tech where if you opened the tombstone fast enough, the boss would bug out and
Bugs
do
out
no
the boss,
mechanics.
Yup.
I
that
remember
was
that.
fun.
Yeah,
was
exactly.
good.
So that was good shit. So you could now do the mini boss with the boss very easily because of that. That was good times.
Not if you were the encounter designer that had to fix all the things that you guys were discovering about the
Max,
dungeons.
is a format like this going to get the teams into
Also,
bad habits for the
the
globals
other,
where you can restart after the wipe?
What's
No,
the
this
other
is-
temple dungeon?
no.
That we had.
What you guys are watching right now is exactly what every single MDI practice looks like. This is what MDI practice. You guys are watching MDI practice right now. That every team does. It looks exactly like all of these runs.
Dungeon where like I hope it doesn't bug out. On
Was that
every
like the only
single
dungeon
broadcast.
that was ever banned?
Yeah, I think so.
What is the last dungeon? I haven't seen it. What level is it? The Ruby?
Ruby Life Pools
Ruby
23.
23. Yeah. It's a
Juicer.
spicy key.
Yep.
Wait, she's actually on a really good run.
Oh, up in his
One
ear,
death
yo.
only. That's surprising.
Good boy.
Wait, we're actually fighting this. You don't normally fight this, right? I was watching all the team. Wait, huh?
What is
That
Fem
means it's a
doing?
Mistake? Oh, they made a mistake, right?
He probably. What I would imagine happened here is that they're doing it in this skip. Fem used the DPS potion. He dies on purpose, gets masters. This is a classic.
Yeah, I've heard about a tank who uses like shock and disclosure and just walks through a portal and pulls stags.
Yeah, true. Happens sometimes.
And it looks like Direbow's giving up on the Warlock.
So they don't have a priest player, right? I thought they did.
No, they do. Yeah, they've been playing a lot of priest, but
Then what's the bit?
I guess if they just
Yeah, I think
don't
Chaz.
believe. Nah, I don't know.
Chaz is usually the priest, right? Oof.
Yeah, interesting with the rogue pick.
Yeah.
Fem, oh my god.
Oh, the full Sanguine heal on the Tempest Channeler here. This is gonna slow down the pull a lot. And the Thunderbolt is not being interrupted. Yeah. They're doing what I've seen a lot of teams do as well, is that they remove the 2 warriors from the back and they add them to the boss instead.
Yeah. Oh, welcome back.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Did you bug out or what?
I don't know. Either I got Omega Donavold or you didn't hear me. So I
Yeah, you just said
Didn't
it.
talk. You didn't talk at all.
oh. I was gonna
I was,
add like this format, but I
I was
guess you
surprised because
Like this, yeah.
your shocking disclosure got flamed and there was no respond.
was
I
it
think
you
it's
pulled the
easy to get.
dragon?
What? No, I didn't pull the dragon.
I'm pretty sure you did. It's
No, I
1-1.
never. I never pulled.
Mm-hmm. So what happened the second time then? That was on purpose.
No, that wasn't me either. That was just that it was on its way flying down as
I
you
mean,
guys
you were
went through
3 seconds late with triggering, so of course it was you, even though you didn't pull it.
Mm.
3 seconds
Lord,
is an
getting deep.
overstatement.
Okay, two then. If you go early to trigger and then not trigger, you just debate the entire team.
But it actually
But-
will never pull unless you guys walk too far ahead. So it's just like maybe don't hold them W when you walk past. Just
So who's the
mount
one who
up.
usually triggers it?
Is me, but it should probably not even have been me.
Yeah, not anymore after this MDI though.
It should have
Ooh,
been.
you see Karaka heal.
I guess we only did it in case it fucked up
Ooh.
with Shadow Melt, but like I never used Shadow Melt on that. Yeah, and I mean,
You got like 5 million in Sanguine healing on Karaka, and she just landed on a Sanguine puddle.
Yeah, I mean, I think this just goes to show that like the only real progression in this dungeon is just the beginning of the dungeon, right? Well, like
Ruby,
there's
you mean?
optimizations, but yeah.
I mean, if you don't
What
do
do
the
they do
double
in
Inferno
Ruby?
pull, it's very easy. I mean, they're doing the exact same thing, like skipping a double dragon. Is same.
Oh, they're
strat.
doing Omega first pull what with Sanguine 23. Sounds
Yo,
kind of
yo,
spicy.
Omega.
We had fortified in
pretty
the time
spicy.
trial, bro. It's exactly the same pull, I think, as it was in time trial.
Oh yeah, we did it, right?
Like a 21 fortified, 23 tyrannical. It's like I feel like it's almost the same pull. The boss will be hard though. Spicy boss.
Ooh, because on Fem it's very hard.
Dude, teams are actually wiping on like 22, 21 fortified tyrannical bosses. It's actually crazy. How do you
Max,
wipe
did
the
you
low bosses?
see the new Asmon
nerfed
short
the-
today? It's about you.
Is the nerf already in by the way?
The
on
new
PlayStation?
Asmon short?
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
No.
And Tempest boss.
I think it's kind of crazy that these teams consider themselves like really, really good and they can barely kill a 22 tyrannical boss. Good luck
Oh,
at
yeah,
finding
yeah.
a push.
Yeah, I remember watching teams wipe to
No, I'm
was
not.
it Jade Heart in Temple on like a 21 fortified.
Yeah, G's Louise on that one.
I think it's the rest of Shaman.
Mm.
Always the healer.
Okay, legendary going straight into Ruby action.
It's
they're
G's the
very
only
bad.
team that's in Ruby? That is right.
No, legendary.
Legendary now too. Left on Steam.
Ah, okay.
Legendary did a really, really good temple. So like right now, Cheese has 1 minute faster Azure Bolt than Legendary has, but Legendary has like a minute faster temple.
How are they 1 minute faster? I never saw their run. What did they do?
They
Temple?
just like cleans, yeah. Just
No,
like-
Asher Volt.
Dude, Asher, they had some crazy stuff. They were like snapping mobs onto third boss, and then they tried snapping a bunch of stuff into last boss. But then they just like ended up doing the pincer strat.
They did a Jace
Oh.
ending.
But Fem dies twice on that 23
Oh
tyrannical
my
boss.
god. Dude,
Oh
Fem.
god. And this
Hey,
guy's
no
supposed to be
way.
the best tank in the world? Jesus, bro.
Dude, how much of chat do you think has done this on the 23 already?
I think they all
Probably
have.
a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone in, at least my Twitch chat, everyone has done this.
Yeah.
25.
At least it's supposed to be relatable, I guess. Now I guess it's time to see how Legendary will do in Ruby. If they're gonna prog this dungeon fast or not.
Yeah.
Wait,
Legendary,
1524.
Legendary at 9 seconds behind, not including the Ruby Life Pools. So they're 9 seconds behind in like overall score.
But they can easily do Asher Volt, aren't they? Like a minute slower. There must be at least like 30 seconds they can shave off.
Every team was like so much slower than
Yes.
Cheese, but I'm sure they did their homework.
Yeah, yesterday Legendary learned Temple much faster than Cheese did, but they didn't get to really dent the lead all that much. Like this Temple at the start of the day is like really big for Legendary.
Is this it? First try
Cheese can,
Legendary
like,
pull.
pretty
Let's
decently
see.
prog this faster than we've seen Cheese progging it, and they could actually win this.
They double CC.
Teams in Azure will
So
also
much
pull in
healing.
all of
So
trash
much healing.
by Azure Play, onto Azure
Oh,
Play.
the healing. Oh,
It is a lower key, but not a lot of people were doing that during the cups. Actually, nobody did that during the cups.
Yeah, but we had at least for us, we had Sanguine pulling all of that onto the boss and make sure the boss never, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Nightmare.
most of the cups were not
What
great.
abilities do
affixes.
they have in Asher Volt?
Oh, it's pretty easy. It's like 21 Tyrannical Raging, I think.
Max shaves the beard. Huh? I still got a beard. It's still bearding. Oh, dude, I need to order food. I'm hungry. Dude, I'm kind of hungover, honestly.
What happened to Dire Wolves, by the way? I thought they were like my favorites going into this, but they haven't really been. They have some good ones, I guess.
Yeah, I don't
They were actually almost everyone's favorite, right?
Yeah. Certainly were mine going into it.
Their favorite coming into this weekend?
Mm.
I
One of the
think
favorites,
yeah.
for sure, yep.
they looked fucking banger in the cup, but I think as you saw them play more and more, they showed. I think they had a crazy good series. Who did they play? Was it Perplexed or Monka or someone? They played someone.
Yeah, Perplexed.
They looked really good.
They should have 2-0'd Perplexed if they didn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and it wasn't even
Have
because
a
of
DC
like
and
it wasn't even because of like routing or pathing either. It was like just straight up efficiency,
had
like
better
damage.
runs, yep.
They just looked like a better team, yeah. And then like when they got to the lower bracket, they looked a little bit worse. And I was kind of wondering if it was like maybe like a fool's gold situation, but they just had such good players who have played before. But then I mean, I feel like it's very likely that how good of a team you are is going to show in something like this, right? Because it's basically just 3 days of MDI practice, and the better teams are always going to show. I mean, they seem like they're not as good as the other three teams to me, even though they looked so good in the cup.
I wonder
It's
how
just
much
about the
it is
learning
just-
curve.
Yeah, but it could also
Yeah.
just be like them not caring as much. Like I know Jay's team, I was talking with Yoda. They said we weren't gonna care much about Last Stand. Like, I mean, they're just gonna qualify and just try to play, no practice,
Huh?
see how it goes.
Oh, they didn't really care about.
Well, no, it's like they already did all the practice, right? Like during the cups, they don't want to like spend more time on it. So
Huh.
Yeah.
if they weren't
It's like
like,
global
I think-
spot. It's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
weird, but
yeah.
also I can always. Teams definitely spend a ton of fucking time practicing for the MDI. So if any of the teams are like, "Yo, let's do less of that," that it
yeah,
makes
they're
sense.
probably like, I don't want to have to do like another 2 weeks of this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been on a team that has had that exact conversation, but at the same time, when you make that decision, it's going to affect your performance for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the format, like you said, though, where teams like Cheese are really able to reach the upper band of their potential, but Direwolves was always putting together really good runs, but maybe they weren't putting together the fastest runs because they couldn't consistently do them. And now when they're trying to put together the fastest runs in this sort of format, it's like more of a struggle for them.
I think Cheese and Legendary could actually be like really competitive this year in the MDI if they stay together. They're just both like new teams. You know, they're like playing with a lot of new people together for the first time, but they have a lot of player skill. But I think to like get to like the Monka Echo-ish level, that's not something that you could do with even if you had just absolute freak beast gamers, like it requires freak beast gamers and years of experience, I think, to do that, realistically compete.
But I still think it's insane that there's this many good teams in Last Stand. Like, this is the first time ever, right?
Oh,
Usually
absolutely.
Last Stand, there's like, you know, maybe 1 or 2 good teams and just a bunch of like other whatever teams.
Yeah, a lot of Fiesta.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like this time around, there's actually so many good Last Stand teams.
Yeah. I mean, we even said that yesterday, right? Like, Let Him Cook kind of fell off a little bit yesterday.
At Domino's, we took all the best things about pizza and put them on our new loaded tots. Melty cheese, melty cheese. Mouthwatering toppings, mouthwatering toppings. Potato, potato. Try our new loaded tots with your favorite pizza when you mix and match them for $6.99 each.
So with a Planet Fitness Black Card, I'll get a post-workout glow like that guy?
Everybody knows that you need to glow, you need to glow, the glow, the glow.
And I get a free Amazon Halo to track my fitness and sleep.
Cause when you got the glow, there is no stopping what you want to do. Oh,
And I can bring a friend.
it's the way of life.
Okay, sign me up.
Sign up for the PF Black Card for $1 down, $24.99 a month, and get a free Amazon Halo View. Ends March 15th. It's glow time.
Everything is fun on a trip to Texas. You could do this. Or try this. It doesn't even matter what you do.
Actually, it does matter. I'm obsessed with food and sports and music.
This is our trip to Texas. Go get your own.
Me in a while. It was like I was a dog or some
we
shit.
were not doing that when we were playing. Cause like, I remember during our cup, we only cared about beating Dr. J's team. Like we didn't really practice any of the maps for global final, or not global finals, but like, you know, the final matches.
That whole interview was great. I haven't watched it. Here, let's do that. Let's
I just got stunned with like all
Here
teams
we
like
go.
wipe at the same time. I don't know what happened.
reacting to streamer.
But yeah, it depends on how. I think
awards,
experience plays a big role in that as well.
interview,
'Cause we for sure have the time, for
slash
example, to practice
cameos.
full maps. But for
After.
a new team, I think it's you have a way longer learning curve, right? In these.
Oh yeah, it's massive. Like I think.
Well, also,
I don't even think
oh,
you guys
actually-
know how long it takes for us to fucking practice.
I was
Talking
also
to Gingy
thinking,
about
like,
it, I'm just like, dude.
for you guys, because like during Shadowlands and before, it was you had the same dungeons, right? So that definitely played like a big part, right? Like you already got used to these dungeons from first season and second season.
Yeah, but even so, like I feel like for our team, I don't know how long we've been doing this now, but it's like you do a pool and then you're like, okay, if we do this pool like 10 pulls or try 10 times, we're probably gonna make it, and then we just have the feeling to be like, yeah, okay, this pool is never gonna be doable, you know, which I think is a very big
Yeah,
thing.
and everyone
versus-
already knows
for some-
what to do already.
Exactly, and some other teams that are new, they're gonna be like, yeah, maybe this is gonna be doable. We have no clue how to play it, which is, you know, they're just gonna sit there for 2 hours and try one pool and then like, oh, it probably won't work.
Did you watch the Ian
Yeah,
interview with
that's what it
Bellular
was.
yet?
I
No,
was
I
gonna say
didn't.
only 2 hours. We've spent more than 2 hours in a poll.
I think a big reason for that though is that when you wipe to a poll, you look at the the VOD, you analyze the poll, and you try and figure out a way to do it immediately. You don't just blindly do reps. You always try to improve in the area where you died to, or
What? No, there's no
Find
timestamps. I'm not
optimizations.
watching this.
then I mean your progress time is just gonna be a lot better.
I
right?
can't. I
That's
can't
the thing,
chat.
like-
I just can't watch interviews that don't have YouTube timestamps for some reason, and are going to mostly like if Bellular is doing an interview with Ian, I'm not going to care about 70-80% of the questions, right? So like, but some of them might be really really good for me. Like I would find them really interesting, and those ones I would want to react to. So I would want to like skip ahead to them. But if I don't know when they are, then I'm just wasting my time. And it appears disrespectful because it shows me constantly skipping questions, which is like a bad look, you know? Like I know going into it what I find interesting and what I don't. So I try to not put myself in situations where I'm reacting to someone's video and I just skip the whole fucking thing. And I don't know, it just comes off the wrong way.
But yeah, I was gonna
That's-
say, like when what you said might be like, yeah, just look at the pool and analyze if it's doable or not. I think that's the issue for new teams, that you don't know exactly what to analyze. You know, for us it's very very basic because we've been doing this for so long. We know exactly what to look at and what to fix and change. you make it happen.
Did you watch the
But I
Ian
think that's
interview
the
with
biggest
Echo?
issue if you're a new
No.
team, that you don't know exactly where to look and what to, you know, what to fix and change, and then you just end up wasting a lot of time just trying to pull, even though it might never be doable, you know.
Yeah, I think it's also just like team synergy. Like, as you guys already know, like who's supposed to be getting what and like who's kicking what and who's calling all the stuff. You guys already like sort of have something planned out, right?
We know what we can expect of each other as well, and we're good at like splitting the jobs evenly as you know too, so that no one seems overwhelmed. Like let's say we do a massive ass pull, it's tough on healing, it's tough and explosive in case it's that affix. Then we probably not have can't do tons of other things on pulls like that.
Yeah, it's just like if we cannot kill the pull within a Nature's Vigil, we just know we're gonna die. So it's how it is.
True.
It's not about healer anymore. It's about
When you guys go up to a massive AoE pack with a ton of kicks, do you use an auto marker, or does everyone have a marker bound to like their focus kick or some shit? Like, how do you guys mark massive pulls?
Mouse over focus, that also applies your mark.
Yeah.
But everything's pre-assigned before.
That's probably the goat. Yeah.
I think I heard they have become a lot better, like the weakgrass for it, and that you can like program them to always mark the same marker to each move or something. I don't know, because I haven't never played with it myself.
Wait, people keep messaging me about this. Max, I'm still waiting patiently for that loot post you said may come out a few days back. Yeah. So, I basically... So, like I said, I had told you guys, probably not, I'm not, like, keeping it from me. Like, I had heard about some cool changes coming to loot specifically in Season 2, especially in regards to tier. They've alluded to some of those changes in interviews, but not all of them. And I know Skarzard would probably make that post. And Skarzard was talking about on Twitter writing some massive post last week. So I just thought he was talking about that. But he didn't end up doing that. So I'm assuming it's coming out at some later point. I'm not sure.
There's probably good solutions for it.
For sure. Fogging is amazing.
I think it just depends heavily if you're playing with a consistent team or not. Because like if you're playing with a consistent team, then you can just like everyone sort of knows what they're supposed to get. But if you're like constantly playing with different people, it's like, well, I mean, this time this person gets that, and the next time, you know, some new person gets this.
It seems like a lot of teams are struggling with the first pool though, even though you said it was free mic with the 23 Sanguine Tyrannical.
What is it? I thought there was a post about loot. You got me playing into Destiny 2. I got you playing Destiny 2? Oh, man. I'm sorry. No, maybe I'm being too pessimistic about Destiny 2. I just feel like Destiny 2's doing new blind raid content, contest mode with your friends, top tier fun. I mean, borderline banger, like fucking good shit. I had so much fucking fun doing that raid with them. We all did. We have a Discord for it, and even like the day after, they're like, guys, that was so fucking fun. We definitely need to do this again. Like, that was so fun. But yo, Destiny 2, outside of contest mode raid coming out, the gameplay loop is like Lost Ark tier bad. It's bad. Like, actually fucking... It's bad, and you're permanently behind.
I will live up, you know, but there comes a grip 3 seconds later, and then it's never the same, which is like the, at least from when I played this, was the most annoying thing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Oh, I will say though, I actually did have fun PvPing in that game, which is weird because MMO PvP is always dog shit, to me at least. But the PvP in that game was actually pretty enjoyable.
I could be wrong, I'm not sure.
Is there a more iconic duo? I was talking about some other shit on my stream and I just realized this. Why does every priest on the AoE from the Shahs in Temple always disperse after they've taken all the damage? It happens every
it's because,
time.
dude, Shadow Priest... Dude, if there's one thing I learned, Priest hate using Disperse more than, like, you know, Mage having to use Block or Hunters having to use Turtle. I don't know what it is.
Well, I mean,
what is it
I know what
about
it is.
Priest?
They can't press their buttons anymore. That's the answer.
But I mean, neither can Mage in Ice Block and
so you're saying it's like a
Hunters with
priests
Turtle.
are stupid angle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
Okay,
like,
yeah.
Priests
Yeah, I'm
in
there.
particular are way more pissy about this than Hunters or Mage. I don't get it.
Shadow Priest is new on the meta.
Yeah, they're
Actually true. Very
That's
true.
actually
Shadow,
true, yeah, they never
Shadow
got to
Priest
play the
is
game
a
until now.
very underplayed class, and if you're ever looking at multi-classers that even are good at doing damage, like in a raid farm period with your better players, or just in a Mythic Plus Fodom season, the first thing that you'll see is the damage. They'll have like a lot of damage on those classes, but typically the things that fall through are like the unique kind of niche utility things that the class has, and defensive use if the defensives are like one that aren't directly relatable to like another class you played. And Disperse is definitely a very unique defensive, so I could definitely see multi-class Shadow Priest being bad at it.
A bunch of noobs. But also, they have a lot of defensives now, right? Like, they can, like, flash shield themselves. They have Desperate Prayer. Fade.
Yep. You got a lot of little things with Shadow.
You'll see people being better at Shadow at the end of this season and into next season, though, the people who have actually swapped to it, because it's really strong. Who knows how good it'll be after the redesign, but, like, think about the last time people swapped to Shadow Priest and Mythic Plus. When was that? When was the last time Shadow...
Never.
In my memory, I don't know if it was at any point that Mythic Plus has been...
I mean,
really
they
popular
were
game.
really
Maybe,
powerful
like-
in BFA.
Yeah,
BFA,
maybe
like,
end of
season 3.
BFA with Corruption.
No, but even before Season 3, they were extremely powerful. I remember Natalia playing with Nubin.
I don't remember a single time anyone ever played Shadow Priest.
That
No,
was
no,
like
it was
a
very
niche
good.
thing that they could pull off. Yeah, it wasn't like it was full-blown meta. Because other people were just playing like Fire Mage BFA.
I mean, that class is already going to be dead, right? It's only a couple more weeks.
Yeah, they finally gotten to a spot where I don't know about the redesign element of it, but they're definitely really powerful. Yeah, I can definitely understand the uneasiness of Priest because it's not like Blizzard has a great track record with redesigns, and it's always just a huge gamble on whether that's going to be good or not. And you feel like right now it's not perfect, but at least it's workable. Like you're like, we're strong and it's workable. But even, let's be real though, how Priest feel right now feels exactly how they felt in season 1. Was it season 1 of Shadowlands where they were just absolutely blasting, at least in raid, like they were just the best class by far, and they just got nuked from orbit. I feel like Priest, even without a redesign, we're probably going to get something close to that.
Yeah, well, the weird part about Priest is that they're usually nerfed because of raid. Because, like, you know, they're one of the very few multi-dotting specs left. And they usually overperform. When they overperform in raid, they're just okay at
Max,
best.
who did you vote for in that
That's sort of like
streamers
this week's
streamer award, by the way? Wait, I don't even
True
remember.
Breach.
I don't know. Pay Money Wummy won.
Those are
I don't
weird
know
things that we
him,
have
although
wide
I
enough
should have
countries
voted
right
for
now
him
that it
because
could be-
everyone comes to my channel and tells me that I look like Pay Money Wubby. Dude, I should have just talked to that guy. I bet he at some point on his stream has read a chat message where he mentions that I look like him, because I get that all the time. so and he seems like a cool dude, so I'm sure he would have found that funny. Or he would have absolutely no fucking clue who I am, which is more likely. Okay, Max, did you know ahead of time that Anita had Tourette's? I'd be so thrown off by that interview. Okay, so I've heard people say this a lot. So yes, I knew of her and I knew that she had Tourette's. But not like... I will say I'm not like super familiar with Tourette's, so I don't really know what that means. Right? I wouldn't want to be disrespectful and just like assume it just means you're just gonna fucking scream obscenities at people or whatever, like the... You know, the videos I watched like 10 years ago on that shit. I forget, there was some channel that was like doing Tourette stuff, but you know, I had no idea what to expect. I would just say, regardless of Tourette's or not, being in an interview with someone calling you a bitch and like patting you on the head and stuff, regardless of whether they have Tourette's or anything else, it would just catch you off guard, right? It would just catch you off guard. So that's probably, I don't know, but I didn't go into the interview expecting anything else, so I was just having like a normal reaction to it, I guess. I haven't watched it. I have no idea how it played on camera, but I didn't feel uncomfortable or anything. I was just kind of vibing. Yeah. Yeah.
Zach on a 1 minute cooldown.
I'm fired up answer. Yeah, dude, I wasn't. They asked me who I would rather mod for and who I would never mod for, which are like pretty like layup questions, but I didn't have a great answer for them because I don't mod for anybody. And I wouldn't, like, what does that even mean? Like who would I want to, on my off time on stream, sit in their chat and moderate their chat? Fucking nobody. Basically what they're asking for you to say is, like, who would you know, it's just like, I guess, like a fun answer. So, I don't know. I didn't know what to say, so I just randomly said fired up just because I think he would find that funny. And then they asked me who I would mod for, and I was like, I have fucking no idea. And then I was in a Discord call with the cats earlier that day, and I just said the cats. Most people said Hassan or XQC. Yeah, I guess I don't know either of them though, so I don't. Yeah.
Legends are taking a long break here, but Cheese have a good run right now. Looks like.
Don't jinx it. The curbs are still a possibility.
Actually, quite a massive nerf on this boss from the Infernos.
Dude, I don't get how this dungeon gets nerfed, but not TJS. Like, TJS is a problematic dungeon.
I'm surprised they haven't nerfed the trash. The Dark Claws
Yeah.
and the Frontals. I was expecting that to get nerfed 2 months ago.
I mean,
ridiculous.
there's a lot of deadly things, right? There's also I think the Shy Explosions from the Smallies.
Yeah.
The frequency of the Shambling and Faster casting them as well. Like, I don't know, there's
The
a lot of things they could
bosses
fix.
too.
I mean, Wiseberry doesn't
Dude,
really do anything, right?
James said the
No,
tux
Wiseberry
looked
was
clean
the
last
boss
night
game.
in all caps.
Which
Let's
one?
go.
That's what I mean.
Why is Murray?
Oh.
That boss farms every team.
Yo, cats,
Cats? Okay, yeah.
I shouted you guys out last night on the red carpet.
Oh, yeah, someone linked the clip of that.
Yo.
I didn't know who to say, man. I was so caught off guard. They asked me who I wanted to
Yeah.
mod for. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, it was such
fucking
a strange
know.
question.
Yeah,
You
and
were
I
like,
don't get. Yeah, I'm like, I don't fucking know.
You're like, I don't want to mod for anybody. What the fuck?
Yeah, you don't want to say like Asmongold or something.
Oh, well, yeah, that would be rough. But no, I didn't know who to
think you were a
say,
civilian.
and I was in a call with you guys that day, so I was just like the cats, and she didn't seem to question that at all. But then when I said I didn't want to mod for Fired Up, she was like, "Who?" Dude, Fired Up got hooed insane.
Who?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he got hooed. He got
God,
hooed
yeah.
real hard. Oh, apparently also, like, as a joke, I, like, when Asmongold obviously won, I, like, booed. I booed. like,
Talk about that.
I was like,
I saw that on your cam.
Yeah,
Your
boo.
face said boo. I was like,
But I think they cut it out before I started laughing afterwards, so it looked like I was fucking mad.
No.
Did it show
was
it?
in the clip too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't
actually
seen.
had a
I
lot of
haven't seen
people
any
that
of the
said,
clips
like,
yet.
did you see Max being butthurt over Asmongold winning? Like, I actually saw that comment in the chat today.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Oh my god.
wait, they're actually gonna fuck up the skip again.
Dude,
Oh,
what is going on, fam?
This time I think it was Jimmy, and then I don't even know how they pulled. I think the invis ran out or something.
That's very surprising. I smell a random ass crit file proc or some shit.
You see his debuff right now.
People seem to have a
I'm
really
surprised
low
he has
joke
the debuff
tolerance
again.
when it comes to Max for some reason. Yeah, that makes sense.
How do
Cause,
you not have a weak word for that?
well, actually, I don't know why people have a low joke tolerance for me. Well, okay, first of all, the reason I said that's not surprising is because it was in Gingy's chat. Like, who's in Gingy's chat, right? Like, do you think Gingy's chat has a very favorable opinion of me in general? The answer to that is obviously no, for the most obvious reasons ever. So, like, when that's what I meant by, that's not surprising. But I guess I'm, like, perceived as, like, a super serious person, but, like, if you've ever watched my stream at all, I'm not ever serious, right? Like, the whole point of the stream is that it's a joke. Like, that's the whole bit. So, like, not getting that, you know what I'm saying? It's weird. It's like basically if you watch my stream, you would always understand that I'm joking, but if you don't, I have this outside perception of being very serious. For whatever reason. I look serious, I guess. And then I've also been told by people who don't know me and have just seen me in real life or just like watch me, they just say I'm very intimidating. And I don't know what that means. And I don't know why that is, but I've heard that. So I guess if you see that, or if I have that perception or whatever, like you just, that's, yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Definitely doable.
That's a lot of babysitting for the healer to make weak auras for everybody.
I don't know. I could just like if that weak aura is perfect, I could see the benefit of it because it's kind of like brain off, But I just have a very very hard time believing that weak aura is ever gonna be like consistent because it's too much RNG in I don't know.
In MDI, I think it works though.
Yeah, but he's not doing it in MDI. He's more over pushing keys, I would assume.
High key is a little bit different, but I mean the thing is you can always make the weak aura perfect, right?
Yeah.
Like let's say you do
Yeah,
great.
we had some issues.
Oh no! Oh no! Lady Dragon is in the Sangoon again.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Oh wow, the fucking one Sanguini spot.
Yeah.
I mean, works out well for progress, right? Like because it also thinks about like what part of the fight we have raid cooldowns on and things like that, so you don't use them at the wrong times either.
Yeah, but I can just imagine Ellesmere sitting there for like 2 hours. Okay, guys, this is the route we've been doing. I fixed all our personals with my week run, and then James goes like, "Yo, I have cooldowns here. Let's change this pool." And then he just changed the entire route,
I was watching their Halls of Valor, and James was actually complaining. He was like, Ellie, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this cooldown rotation? Like, I don't want to be using things on global. Like, why don't you have something like Vanish for since it's off GCD?
Oh god.
And like Faint.
I would be
for like
angry about
Himdall.
See,
No, but
but
this is why.
Anyway.
No, but this is why healers shouldn't make this by themselves. By the way, like they should
yeah.
definitely talk to the DPS players before they make assignments.
Almost do like a walkthrough.
Like imagine you have like your combustion at a specific timing and the healer tells you to press ice block. Like,
Ice block, yeah, and you don't want to be.
Yeah, you say no.
Are you guys talking about the first pull of Temple yesterday? Because that was actually like a massive part of that conversation. Like the ability for some teams to quickly figure out how to do that defensively, and some others, and you saw it from pull to pull. They had like a late Spirit Link, they tried early personals and early AMZ, and then they eventually were just like, they settled on like an early Link and moved a lot of the other personals and stuff back when they had a mass early. And that, like, those quick adjustments made it to where that pull was so much more consistent, and other teams just kept the same cooldown route they initially came up with and were just getting farmed, and it was just so much less consistent.
Yeah, we were basically talking about like the weak auras that they make and how they pre-plan CDs.
I think it's also like more about like how you stop those motors because they're gonna live a long time, right? Because we never did that on Fortify back then. Imagine those casters. You have like a cease rotation. Yeah, the first pull, and then I feel like they're gonna start casting, right? At some point.
That stuff is booty out. Yeah, that's what a lot of teams are struggling with. Because like they get the mobs really low just fine, and then like they just die afterwards.
What is it? Someone said, I've gotten both vibes from you depending on the topic. Yeah, maybe that's why. I've actually heard that in my stream chat before. I mean, dude, someone said it last weekend, and I think it probably maybe you guys think it encapsulates it the best. They said, dude, I don't get it. Max sometimes seems like he's super intelligent and he's like talking about stuff and has like a, like a deep perspective on it, and then sometimes he just says shit like Razzie G and has no idea what's going on. And they said, I don't understand him. And then a lot of people in chat were like, yeah, it's kind of like, welcome to the stream. That's kind of how it is. Yeah, but like, I don't know, man. So I guess in a way, if that is true, right, then it can be hard to read me based on the subject, because sometimes I will be very deep on it, and sometimes, most of the time, there's nothing deep occurring whatsoever.
And they can't kill the boss because they don't deserve to be here.
Yes. So that's so true.
Warcraft
True,
chat.
true.
That's based.
That's
God,
so
that's
based,
true.
man. Like,
Wait, why does this guy
people
get
do
timed out?
27 on live, and these guys have full biz, and they can't even kill that boss.
Well, that's true.
That's actually
Well,
Class Discords hate
actually,
you?
but then
Oh
you
yeah,
look at,
that's
you
been
know,
a thing for a
these
long time.
27 teams, and they're just like 20% leech, 20%.
People who
poison.
stream in general will always have a very interesting interaction
Very
with
real.
Class
It's kind of
Discords.
cheating, actually.
There's nothing
There's
more a
something,
class.
that's why I'm happy I'm not really.
There's nothing more a Class Discord hates than like someone who isn't a part of their team or group giving a take about a class, even if it's something that they were asked. Like ever. Like even if you're like an established player of that class. And then for me, like a lot of people watch my stream for overall game class balance and stuff. So I'm constantly giving takes about classes because I'm asked to do them, right? So that obviously just those relationships are just put to a grind. You know, like there's definitely a lot of Class Discord people that I'll just say some random shit I'm not even thinking about a class. It gets linked in their Discord, and then like they're all just like, dude, fucking, it wasn't from us, so fuck this guy. That same thing happened to like the most interesting example I can ever think of this is Evade. Like Evade, if you guys know Evade, DH player, an absolute fucking legend. He's insane at the game. He's the nicest guy, and he's extremely smart. And usually is one of the people coming up with, you know, a lot of like cutting edge stuff for that class. Like just a absolute highest opinion of that guy as possible. That guy's stuff at any point would get linked to the Demon Hunter Discord at some point in time, and everyone there that was like a mod in that Discord or was a community member of them would just downplay everything he says. And you know, the obvious reason why is he's just not a part of their group. He's not one of the friends. He's not someone involved. Though you're not here, then like, you know, if you're with us or against us kind of thing. That's just the vibe, man. That's just the kind of thing you're gonna get there. It's usually when the class discords are being, this is not always true, but when class discords are used for information and like the community is built around information basically, you see a lot of you know, really good communities. There's a lot of really good class discords. They're not always the same, but some of them are definitely. When you see people using the class Discord as more of like a community or their set of friends, and it's run by especially people that are super into like parsing and stuff like that, and especially in the tank and healer space, then you start seeing some you know, I'm sure some of you guys have been in those Discords and know what I'm talking about, but you see some shit for sure. It's basically because of that, a streamer and a class Discord having a symbiotic relationship is like really rare, because you're usually just at odds with each other. Because there's nothing less that the class Discord people want to see than a clip from a streamer who's not a part of their friend group saying something about a class that doesn't directly align with what they think, and they just become the enemy. That's all it is.
It's not outplayable by a Weakura, because people just
make the game simpler. And then
very important. Not all
exactly.
of them. This is not all of them, but there are.
Like, weird mechanics.
I mean, for any of you guys who care,
sure,
I'm not much like
Max knows more about this than I do, but they for sure design raid fights right with Weakras in mind right now. Because if you have a Weakra that just plays the game for you, you know, the mechanic is kind of whatever anyway.
I think they did that before this upcoming raid. Like, I genuinely don't think. Like, okay, so like look at Sepulchre, right? There's no way they designed Jailer Bombs, Lihivum Mythic Mechanic, or there's like a few other things. Yeah, I guess in a way. Well, Lords of Dread actually people always bring up, but you could definitely like Natty do Lords of Dread and just talk, and it was fine. But
that was just like making it easier.
Yeah, it was making it easier. But there were a few like, dude, can you guys fucking imagine doing Mythic Jailer, like having to YOLO all 6 bombs every single pull? Like, is it doable? Yes, but like, it would have taken a lot more pulls. Like, you would have wipes of that all the time early, and this raid there was really nothing like that. Like, it was all deeply very visual, and there wasn't a mechanic to me, at least maybe unless I'm missing one, this raid that seemed like it was made because they knew you'd make a weak aura for it. It seems like they tried to not do that at all.
But I mean, don't you guys feel like it's gonna make it too simple, these fights?
That's the risk.
It's like very hard to it's very hard to make a fight that is not simple with weak.
I mean, it really depends. Like, look at Thundering. It's kind of simple, no? But you wipe this all the time. I think it's a good like Vikaros. Yeah, sure, kind of a weaker with thundering, but I don't know how many times I wiped the thundering. Even if you have a Vikaros screaming at you clear, and you're like, oh shit.
Fucking thundering.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
they.
because,
Are you guys thundering enjoyers?
You're a tank now. You don't care about it. If someone walks on top of you,
True.
it's fine.
I have been high-key hustling on my vet pala, bro. I've been caring about thundering a lot.
Okay.
Bro, we complained so much about thundering as a tank on feedbacks and PTR stuff or beta stuff.
Oh yeah, I guess that's something I wanted to ask. How do you guys feel about the removal of the seasonal affix?
I like Gingy's take on it. It was usually only like the one positive thing.
The Earth is 70% water and 30% land. But the entire sky
Any painter can paint, but only CertaPro painters come with power. The power of a team who knows what they're doing. The power of dialing up the wow factor to 11. The power of living where you live and liking the same coffee shop you do. The power of being the talk of the cul-de-sac or the office park. If you want certainty, you want CertaPro painters. The power of pro. Start your project at CertaPro.com.
Now we're just gonna cut off everything because you admitted that you were wrong. That's unironically somewhat driving this trans panic, because that's the worst possible outcome for trans people, right? If a trans community says,
that's an amazing interpretation. Yes. Thank you, Steven.
So the reason why a different
Guys, this is a really rare Raptor, man. This is actually a rare elite. Guys, this isn't just a rare. This guy, Tuck the Leaper, is a rare elite. So I need to get max rage before we go in on that guy, okay? The thing you want to do, guys, before you do anything like this, like killing elites and stuff like that as a warrior, is pool up a bunch of rage before you go in on the mob, right? Because that way, you, I mean, you have maximum rage. It's not really that difficult, right? We have max rage. I'm gonna bandage myself up. Okay, guys, Tuck the Leaper.
What burning? Roof burning, what the fuck?
Please, no parries, no dodges. Here goes, guys. Maximum Thunders here. We're gonna Thunderclap, guys, and Demo Shout. Going off here. Sundering up. Oh my god, he actually does a lot of damage. Okay, Thunderclap going off again. Miss. I'm gonna do a little thing here. Oh my god, wait, hold on. Rend. We're fine. I'm gonna heal, I'm gonna H-pot after this attack. We're good. Let me do this. Oh my god. Dodge, we can overpower. And we're chilling. Yeah, you didn't have... You are never joining any of my dungeons. All me. Yeah. All... Oh my god, he actually does a lot of damage. Okay, Thunderclap going off again. Miss. I'm gonna do a little thing here. Oh my god, wait, hold on. friend. We're fine. I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna H-pot after this attack. We're good. Let me do this. Oh my god. Dodge. We can overpower. And we're chilling. Yeah, you didn't have. You are never joining any of my dungeons. All me. Yeah. All you. Unbelievable. We did it, guys. We did it. What do we get though? Hold. Actually, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's actually very, very nice.
Buying a home? Rocket Mortgage will cover 1% of your rate for the first year at no cost to you, saving you hundreds, even thousands with Inflation Buster. That's more road trips, more spa days, more of what you love. Plus, if rates drop within 3 years of your home purchase, you get exclusive savings when you refinance with Rate Drop Advantage. That's more cash in your pocket.
The streamer awards. I know it might sound crazy, but like I didn't even watch the part where I won.
I haven't seen this many millionaires get jerked off since Kai Subathon.
That was funny, the fact that that dude got jerked off on stream. And it's like, because you never really know, but everybody knows. Like, this dude straight up said, like, oh, wow, you know, like the Asmongold challenge. Like, bro, I'm going to beat the sub record and the Asmongold challenge at the same time.
It was just his thigh. It was just his thigh. Congrats again, Kai, for breaking the sub record.
I feel like you can't. The thing is, like, if you go on an award ceremony, like, this is really just a bunch of other rich people jerking each other off, right? Like, that's really what it is. Now, it's entertainment. It's funny. But I want to go back to the fact that it is entertainment. Because I think that's the most important thing that everybody seems to fucking forget. Is that this is a show that is put on live for the advertisement and the amusement of the audience. So, roasting streamers is funny. So, if you're going to get mad about that, I mean, I don't think that you should roast people for certain things. And there should be things that are off limits, etc. But, like, this was not over the line. This is fine. Yeah, great.
Evi was another record breaker this year. 3.3 million concurrent viewers tuned into his boxing stream. Isn't that amazing? Spanish streamers fight in rings, NA streamers just fight through clips.
Yeah, we do. We do. Now let's get the biggest stories of the year. It's been a tough time for esports org.
That's not true, bro. Like, I don't know when this happened. Like, probably 2 or 3 years ago. Whenever, like, content creators went and they said, fuck, like, internet beef, like, we're gonna beat the shit out of each other. Like, can you imagine, like, let me think of, like, a matchup. Like, two people that don't, like, if Logan Paul and CoffeeZilla had a boxing match, everybody would watch that. Fucking everybody would watch that shit. Absolutely. Yeah, KSI started. Yeah, it was KSI, wasn't it? Yeah, Actman and Quantum TV.
FaZe went from almost bankrupt. Apparently the only thing they can't phase up is their stock.
In other news, Twitch made a pretty big change to their revenue share, which is already hurting a lot of streamers. I heard Sodapuppin had to cut his DoorDash orders in half. Now he's only doing about 6 a day.
True.
All that Twitch drama makes me so happy to be on YouTube. This was
Good point.
This was a big year for platform changes. Sykkuno, Fuslie, Lily Pichu, and Myth all made the switch to YouTube.
What about Aiden Ross? He made a switch too. Bro, we forgot about our boy Aiden. What happened to Aiden?
Making this the best time to be a fan of bad Valorant gameplay.
True.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Speaking of platform changes, this year Kick.com was announced. You know, they actually wanted to sponsor
Somebody boos. Bro, that's like probably like what one of the Twitch employees is like, boo. Like fuck that, bro. Like yeah.
But then they backed out, and I told them I wasn't showing any porn.
I should give you some context. Yes, we were thieves, but we have a chance to save the world.
Doing that fire breath in a very specific spot, and ideally you have players baiting the Karaka positioning like towards either like where Karaka will plant itself on the ground, exactly like what you see from Cheese right here. And so there are 2 to 4 positions that we're looking for on the side of Cheese, and that's why they moved those warriors whenever they were killing them off so far away, because they know that those are not eligible positions for Karaka to land. And things are looking significantly better. 2 out of 3 times we've had Sanguine Healing. This 3rd time, we are going to have 0 Sanguine Healing on the boss. I don't know if they're going to be able to push this here, but I think they're going to be pushing it momentarily after this Fire Breath.
They push the next Fire Breath for sure, and look at the cooldowns available too. The army will be coming up for fragments very, very shortly here as well. I don't think they delay. I think they push on this one. Because remember, still time trial, still trying to go as fast as possible. They'll definitely push on this down phase with the bosses at 55 and 50%. It's going to push anyways, so you want to get as much free damage onto Karaka here as possible. And now that the boss flies into the air and goes to that initial spot in the front of the room, we are finally into phase 2. The question is, how many of those triple flame spits can they live through? Last time around, Tuttles, when they had the boss at 80%, they were able to live through 3 of them, and then the initial damage from the 4th set of flame spits is what finally killed them. This time around, though, with the boss this low, they might potentially be able to beat the 3rd. See just how big the damage they actually have is.
That 3rd one and that 4th one come with a really bad overlap with the interrupting shout, which, like, if you don't have major defensives, you just get absolutely clocked. So they're using personals plus Emerald Communion here, but Karaka is pretty much dead. I don't even know if it's going to get another flame spit off. Look at this. 5% HP. I think they're gonna get it here because it's queued into it right now. And we got it, but you know, it's fine. We're just gonna hit our cart here. People are getting.
People are running over fire. No.
Okay, stop that. Stop doing that. All right, B-Res, Ricky.
Stop that now.
Okay. I'm down for 1 death.
Wait, no. We got it again. He jumped over the fire. You get the fire when that happens, man. You can't do that. No!
Huh.
You know the fire is being blown towards them too? Please, no more fire. Just kill the boss. Come on.
Okay.
Alright. It wasn't the cleanest at the end. What are they doing?
Trolling.
Was that rescue? That was a purposeful troll. Bro. What was that?
Dude, I don't even know what to say.
Hey, you know what, Tuttles? They 3-chested it.
They did 3-chest it. They had 4 deaths that 0 of them were required, and 0 of them happened before. All 4 of them happened after Karaka died, which is the craziest part of that whole situation. Like, none of them were before Karaka died. Okay.
Now,
yet to see before.
I don't want to, like, you know, it is highly, there's a high potential that they encountered one of the big problems with this boss, where sometimes the fire on the ground desyncs with where it actually is. I mean, we've all run into this, right? I don't know what it is with the fire on that boss, but sometimes it's just actually in a different spot than it appears on the ground. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt of being high-end MDI players, that they wouldn't just willingly walk into fire over and over again.
I think I got
the important thing. I don't think it has gotten fixed. It happened to me like a week ago.
No, there's a blue post that said it got fixed. Maybe it hasn't.
But the important thing to mention is, based off of the end of that run, we definitely know that there's time available on the board. That show at the end of the dungeon definitely cost them in the realm of like 30 to 40 seconds.
I think longer. I think more on the 40 end. I don't think it's on the 30 end. Because they have 20 seconds to deaths alone. That Frag and Zotzi were just dead for probably 10 seconds of the final bit of the boss. Ricky dying twice and losing all of his cooldowns at once. I feel like we're at least at like 40 seconds here. Quite unfortunate, but we know that there's 40 seconds to be gained now, Zyro. This is great. Great news.
That is true. There is 40 seconds to be gained. There is time on the board, but the question is how much time actually is there? Could they go faster? Could Legendary go faster? Could Dire Wolves come out and go faster? We did actually finally see, during, the shenanigans that occurred on the final boss there, Dire Wolves did get through the first room. They got past the first boss.
I wonder what 26 they got out of this. Actually, a very important question. 3 chests to 23 was called.
They probably got a seat of the triumvirate.
I hate this bit. I hate this bit so much. Dude, look at Legendary in the top left. What is the timer that we're looking for this? 12:30?
12:30-ish, around there. And they're going to be roughly on pace. Maybe a little slower. It's to be
our first run that's made it here. Yeah. I'm not mad.
Oh, the Inferno damage.
I'm mad about it, actually. Now I'm mad about it.
Oh, see, that's the thing, though. The initial Inferno damage is not the part that got nerfed. It's the dot afterwards that got nerfed. That initial Inferno hit is still insanely nasty on this key level. And, yeah. Okay, well, first time seeing it. Go game.
Thunderstruck, I think they're going to need to post a time in this Temple of the Jade Serpent within the next maybe 15 to 30 minutes. Otherwise, I am very, very concerned about their chances. And it's not about just posting a time. It's about the fact that I need to see them have like a 16-something, right? Like maybe even a 16-minute Temple of the Jade Serpent. It's not even about... Because 17:22 is not even like a terrible time in here. It's better than the Dire Wolves, but it's not like a great time, and that this is something that needs to be improved by Thunderstruck by a dramatic amount, but it needs to be improved in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, Dreadnoughts and I were discussing this for our entire, 45-minute shift earlier. At the start of the shift, we're like, okay, we really need to see improvements in these dungeons from Thunderstruck and Dire Wolves, now. And that was an hour ago.
Now was an hour ago,
The door is closing. The door is closing. They need to do it now. And if they can't do it now, they need to do it now.
This format is just so tough because, and we talked about it during TGP, if you have... Okay, if one team has a great day and you have an average day, you're actually so far behind. And then, God forbid, you have a below average day or a bad day, then you just run the risk of either getting eliminated if it happens on either Friday or Saturday, or you just put yourself in a position where it's impossible to come back from. And Thunderstruck, they're not there yet, but I think within the next 30 minutes to an hour, they are putting themselves in a position where I don't know if it's going to be possible for them to come back, because they need it. Because not only are they going to have to improve this Temple of the Jade Serpent time, but they might end up having to improve that Azure Vault time, and then they also have to prog Ruby Life Pools, which it is possible if they play perfect. But then it's why do we troll so long in Temple of the Jade Serpent if they're ready to play perfect in those dungeons? It's just tough. It's going to be very tough for Thunderstruck here, but I think if they post a time in this Temple of the Jade Serpent, they're still in a position where they're able to be competitive.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention because we tend to gloss over how insane these teams actually are too much and just take it for granted. But
yeah.
The things that these players are doing, specifically on this weekend, but also in the MDI in general, the way these polls are set up, the way these dungeons are run, you are stretching the limits of the toolkits that are given to you. There are polls where if things don't go exactly right the way you drew them up with your cooldowns, you will end up dying to them. That's why we're seeing so many wipes. This is a live time trials format that we're broadcasting. The teams are figuring this all out on the fly. This last stand format is honestly, in my opinion, harder for the teams to do than our typical cup weekends. Because you literally have to play for 5 hours straight, 3 days in a row, and try to play perfectly. And that is incredibly difficult to do. 5 hours of this, compared to just doing 5 hours of keys, is a completely different world.
Now, I'm also going to say that this Temple of the Jade Serpent and this Ruby Life Pools that we have got to be the most brutal affix sets for trying to go fast. First off, they're high keys. The Temple of the Jade Serpent is a 22. It's a fortified dungeon, and then on top of that, it's got Sanguine. Like that is absolutely nuclear difficulty to be able to complete, especially whenever you have teams that are doing pulls of this size. And this isn't even the largest pull that we've actually seen from these teams, and this is not even the largest pull that we've seen from this team. We know that they do, they can, and a lot of teams did all of the trash in one singular pull. And then it's like the Ruby Life pools. It's 23. It's tyrannical. It's also sanguine. It's explosive on top of that. So it's like the level of coordination and the time to progress through that dungeon is, if you were practicing for the MDI, it wouldn't even be 5 hours. It would be like 8. But we're requiring these guys to post a good time in this dungeon within a 5 hour band where they're only going to use 2 or 3 hours of it. So they have to be able to get one good run.
Mm-hmm.
It's just tough. I mean, it's really tough, and this is a format that showcases how exceptional some of these teams can be.
Yep, I love it. This is honestly just I love this format because it's definitely a very different take on things from our typical head-to-head format. And I think this is a very nice insight into what teams are typically doing during time trials in the first place, which is something you don't get to see because teams don't stream it that often. So it's definitely a very cool format just to see other teams play.
Direwolf's making good work of the first pull.
Yeah?
Actually, a really good time getting that first pull killed off. They didn't pull Draghar into it, but they're going to take Draghar into the boss, which, assuming that Jack is able to live both the Draghar and the boss, I don't hate this. I think that this is pretty reasonable, and their first boss getting pulled at 134, not bad. I'll take that.
Yeah. I mean, remember, the first boss split from our timed runs is around the 5-minute mark. Pulling the boss at the 2-minute mark, definitely a good clip. A 3-minute 23 tyrannical boss with no Bloodlust is about what I would expect.
Especially with Draghar on top of it.
Yeah,
there's a question of
leave it down.
Well, there's a question of how much cleave are you going to put onto this guy versus do we need to focus him because our tank is getting sauced.
Dude, every single one of these frigid shards that it doesn't have spell block up for or reflect for is just
Hollow died.
Oh, not good. What happened to Hollow?
He just got 100-0 by something. I didn't see what it was.
Did he get hit by a shard somehow? That would be very weird.
I would assume that it was the hot steel ground effect, but
it's probably that. Yeah. It's got to be that. A little unfortunate, but they had a battle res for him.
Yeah,
did he lose anything for that? No, he didn't lose anything for that. But here we are into the first shield. They have a lot of buttons for this, right?
You might get hit by the charge too. There's also a chance of that.
That's true. There's the rewind. That's going to keep people nice and healthy. And they're through the first shield. Now for the second shield,
we got combustion, but maybe we just send it on the boss here.
What else do you have if you send it on the boss is the problem. You don't have anything for the shield. Maybe Incarn comes back up. I think you have to sit on it. That it feels really bad.
That is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Jack
died. Have to make that
this is the problem. This pull is so scary because of that. The amount of tank damage just on Meladrissa alone is so high on a 23 Tyran, and then you add Draghar on top of it, and you're like, what is the absolute world is this pull? Direwolves are looking good though. I mean that was looking okay.
If they can figure that out, how to get that pull done cleanly, and it looks like they're pretty much on the tipping point of that, it seems like the way teams are pulling the second ring isn't necessarily the most dangerous thing. I doubt they're doing anything super crazy like the double destroyer that we've come to see from MDI. I don't think you'd do that on 23. So you just kind of go around, kill one destroyer at a time, and get yourself onto the second boss. They can definitely do that on their first attempt. So they're very close to breaking through in this Ruby Life Pulse. We do know, however, that last trash pack before the final boss is definitely a breaking point. We've seen plenty of mistakes made there, lots of sanguine healing, even potential wipes happening. So if they can get that down quickly, they could be on track to put a good time up in this dungeon, which will help them out a ton. Because they do still need to go back to those two dungeons we've been talking about, the Algathar and the Temple. They really need to put up good times in those dungeons.
Yeah, I mean the temple is the one that's the biggest roadblock too, just because it's such a high level. It has such intrusive affixes. Like the Alg Academy, and I think the players would also say the same thing. Direwolves kind of trolled in the AA. They've wiped so many times, 13 minutes into their run or something like that on the Overgrown Ancient, somewhere north of I think they may be close to 10 wipes. 13 minutes into Alg Academy. Now, that's just a situation where it's like, they've lost just so much time there. Whereas like the Temple of Jade Serpent, it makes sense. Like that dungeon is just brutal.
Brutal is definitely the word that I would use to describe what these teams are going through right now, and they still have 3 hours left in the day, plus some change.
How are you liking the compositions that teams are running in this Ruby? Do you think this mage makes sense? I think to me the mage has been really popular in Ruby Life Pools just in general because there's so many big prio mobs that you can bust into. Do you think there's a better alternative?
We covered this a little bit. I think we both kind of landed on the agreement that if they were to somehow make a Disc Priest work, that would definitely be better. But the question is, does the Disc Priest have the same tools that the Preservation Evoker does to live through these 23 tyrannical bosses? I think if you're practiced on the Disc Priest, you probably could, but
just healed their boss for 10 million.
Not great, but
the boss. No.
They need practice. Is the problem, right? They need practice. They need to keep going because they need to see more if they want to potentially take that 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
So they also just need to put a time on the board in the dungeon still too. The question is, do any of these healers have the Disc Priest prepped, or do they even have a Disc Priest created on the tournament realm?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not so sure that 23 Tyran is the Disc Priest dream. I think that you're just playing Preservation Evoker here. I think that Disc might be faster just in regards to amount of damage that it's going to provide for the whole entire group, particularly the mage. But I do believe that you're going to just need the raw HPS throughput of this Preservation Evoker. Prez has consistently just ridiculous amounts of HPS, and on top of that, they have the best tank external in the game. There's really a lot that's going for them. They also have it. While it is a 40-second interrupt, it is an interrupt on top of that, so that also helps. And then they have knockback and tail swipe. I think that the Preservation Evoker just fits too well here.
Yeah,
maybe you could get away with Disc, but I don't believe it.
The question then is, without a priest, is Fire Mage enough of a strength in its own right to bring to the dungeon? And I think it is. It's just that it's so much better when it has the power infusion.
That's true.
Does the strength of the Fire Mage for Prio in this dungeon outweigh the potential strengths of having a Shadow Priest instead of the Mage? You get access to an extra cooldown and Vampiric Embrace. You get access to PI on your Unholy DK, which is still really powerful. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely a question. All the teams have landed on the answer being Fire Mage right now, but I could definitely see just no Fire Mage playing Shadow instead being the correct answer. As much as that pains me to say that, I love Fire Mage. If you can't give it the power infusion, you can't double down on the strengths, which is pretty important to do.
Look at Legendary here. Even with 1 death and 10 million healing from Sanguine, they're still chugging along. Like you said, they need practice in the dungeon. it's easy to be like, oh, we are not going to be close to our best time, just with all this sanguine healing. But at the same point, there is an expectation that they're going to be able to get to there at some point, and they need to be able to practice that upper ring. They're going to need to be able to practice the end of the dungeon too, because we saw Cheese have some mistakes at the end of the dungeon, because that part's also not free. So it makes sense that Legendary is continuing on, maybe with a little bit of sanguine healing. But more often than not, if you have a full wipe, then you zone out.
Yeah, and honestly, the split isn't that bad, right? 5 minutes is what they are looking for. They're going to be a little bit past that, probably around the 5:15, 5:20 mark. This is acceptable, and you definitely do still want to get a bearing on what you need to do in that second section of the dungeon. They've only done it once so far, so any extra practice is good for them for sure. But that's the first boss going down for them. We'll see how they deal with the trash. I actually do want to focus on how they deal with the trash, because again, we've kind of glossed over the second section of the dungeon a lot with conversations about what the other teams are doing. So I'll keep an eye on Legendary while we discuss what's going on in the other dungeons as well. Thunderstruck still plugging away at that temple, trying to put together a good time. Has not gone well for them so far. They've been here for a long time, over an hour now, trying to put together an improvement, and it's really not going well for them. Direwolf still learning the first pull of the dungeon here, and it looks like Cheese are on a break right now. So, see what they have cooked up when they get back.
They got some nice wine to go with their cheese.
You want to know? Oh, hold on one sec. Let me make sure it's okay with me saying this.
What does that mean?
I have a reasoning given to me from one of the players as to why.
What did he mean by this?
But I don't want to just leak what the players are thinking without them saying it's okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I've got the okay. So Fem on break right now is watching the stream, listening to us having this conversation. Says Disc is stronger for Ruby Life pools.
Yeah.
But it's not really possible on the first pull. They need the stops from the Evoker. And also Tyrannical. Yeah. The Evoker's better too, so that's the reasoning.
That makes sense. Yeah, that checks out. The disc definitely seems like it'd be faster damage-wise, but it's like, I don't even know if these pulls are gonna be possible. She's in a great spot right now, and then just looking around the board here, Thunderstruck top left, still in this Temple of the Jade Serpent. It's brutal for them as they continue to progress through this. Legendary in the bottom right. There is a question as to whether or not Cheese or Legendary are going to be able to get that number 1 seed. And then for Direwolves in the top right, they're going to have to make something happen soon, as they're having a full wipe on Meladrusa again.
Man, this first section of the dungeon. It's a rough one, that's for sure. They have to get through it if they want to have a chance of taking one of those top 2 spots. Both Direwolves and Thunderstruck on the chopping block right now, on the elimination spot. This might be think of the legacy here, right? If Thunderstruck doesn't qualify through Last Stand here, this was like the first time in years that Dr. J hasn't qualified for a global finals, right?
God,
and I think the same goes for the Direwolves team. These guys together have almost always been just a staple.
So the Direwolves team didn't qualify last time. They were close. They were really close last time, but they didn't qualify. Okay. The previous 4 times in a row they qualified. This team with Jay and LaMike got 3rd as Womegalol last MDI.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's been a hot minute.
I think that just kind of goes to show the level of competition that has just increased from last expansion. The fact that we already have 6 teams qualified for global finals. The fact that these last 4 teams are so close together in their strengths, the amount of strong teams there are right now compared to previous expansions is pretty impressive.
Ooh, Legendary having a full wipe in the Ruby Life Bulls. What did you see what happened? It looked like they actually... Did they pull a dragon, maybe?
Not. I feel bad because I was the one who literally was saying I'd keep an eye on it, and then I got sidetracked by some information. Looks like they
some information.
Flame yeah.
Oh yeah. I assumed that they pulled a dragon on accident. Basically for Legendary, this is a practice run for them. They're not.
Yeah.
Okay. they may put up a 21-minute time or something like that, which is not going to be good enough, nor their final time for the weekend. But it's good at what they're doing here is they're trying to get information on what pulls are possible, what pulls are doable, and they need to make sure that they continue to have like the correct offensive CDs available for pulls. Oh, I think they put a shock caster. Maybe a Slime Gullet.
I noticed in the corner of my eye from our POV as they were flying up on the dragon that Flame Goulet was pulled and Fire Breathing on Wexy. So they definitely pulled Flame Goulet on accident.
Yeah, that's
they're gonna
not
keep going. They still need the practice. Yeah, this is okay. I don't mind this at all.
Direwolves in top right having a full wipe again. On it looked, I think it was the Draghar pull into the boss, just having another wipe. There's so much tank pressure that happens on that pull, especially on 23 Tyrant. You see Prot Warriors on live on like a 23 Tyrant, they can die to that boss by itself. And so the fact that they're taking the mini boss into it on top of just the boss is always going to be volatile. There's always a situation where your tank may die to a pull like that. So you just have to be super careful. I think it's just something that you're going to have teams progressing it, and even whenever they do get it consistent, it's not going to be fully consistent. And you're still going to have deaths here and there. And it is just going to happen. In the bottom left, Cheese is back after a little bit of a break, ready to prog again as they have Meladrusa and Draghar available. They're actually doing a lot more damage to Draghar than some of the other teams. But I think they drag him in a lot lower than other teams have been, Zyro. So that checks out.
Yeah, it definitely does check out. Check out Thunderstruck, though. Finally on a good run here. It's been a while. But getting it together, getting onto Lorewalker Stone Step. But part of the problem with getting this particular time split that they're at is the Infestor Patrol. It comes right in front of the door at this section, so they actually have to wait for it. So killing Lorewalker Stone Step at the 720 mark, it's essentially the same as killing it like the 735 mark, because of how much time they have to wait for the Infestor to run by. A little unfortunate, but as long as I can put together this courtyard pull cleanly, we could see an improvement from Thunderstruck here. Direwolves doing a good job on their first pull as well. Actually, I mean, there's a lot of Sanguine healing, but to be honest, like, it doesn't look like it's gone that poorly for them, right? Like, it looks like it was a lot of initial Sanguine healing when they still had most of their like maximum DPS up on the board, right?
Somebody knocked that off.
They were very quickly, easily able to burn through that extra healing.
Yeah. They had a very healthy Terrace entry, but if there's only one healthy Terrace entry, you're not too mad about it. So now they've grabbed Draghar and they're doing this pull into the boss that we've seen Jack die to a couple times. It's just so brutal. It takes a while to get online and it takes a while to get consistent.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing this differently from every other team, right? Like, most other teams are trying to get this Draghar into the first pull as well to get a little bit of extra cleave damage on it. And yeah, they might get a little extra Sanguine healing, but if this Draghar's at 50% when you pull it into the first boss instead of the full health like it is right now, that's less time your tank has to worry about tanking all of these bolts from the boss in addition to the steel barrages, which is kind of nice. And we have seen Jack go down at the end of this boss a couple times now to that extra damage he's taking out. He is a main source of damage taken on this fight. Look at his HP bar from that steel barrage, in addition to the bolts from the boss. It's just very, very dangerous.
Fortunately enough, like, you can block a lot of Draghar's damage, but the issue is like that on top of Meladrusa is going to be really, really dangerous. Like, he's not even taking. Okay, he is taking a lot of damage from Draghar. I would be lying if I said he wasn't taking that much from him, but a lot of the damage is from Meladrusa, and now Hello has to focus his healing on a large portion of the group. It's not just healing that Jack can receive by himself. It's also healing from the Chill Storm, and there's also this Frost Overload phase that he has to save CDs for. And so, and on top of that, if Jack accidentally gets hit by the Draghar charge, he lives somehow. We're okay. We B-res that. That's not a big deal.
Hold on, did I just see Chaz die without cauterizing first?
Well,
I'm gonna get mad.
Cauterize is a damage loss, Syro.
Yeah, but being dead is also a damage loss.
Yes. Being dead is a damage loss. The math does check out on that one. 0 damage is more than, 2% damage loss.
Okay, in all reality, though, in the situation that Direwolves is in, where they need to go for the fastest runs possible in order to even have a chance of catching up to the top 2 teams, I don't hate them. I don't hate them going for that talent choice.
I think it's reasonable, yeah.
A second point in Fevered Incantation, which is the crit damage, when you have consecutive crits, it's like about a 2k DPS increase, overtaking Cauterize. It is that big. So, just going for max DPS, and, if you die, you'll probably just reset the run anyways. I guess I don't hate it. I think in every other, non-time trial scenario, I would be mad at somebody for not taking Cauterize ever. This is one of the only scenarios where I think it makes sense to not run it.
The Wolves here are going to be able to kill the boss here in just a couple of moments. That 5-minute mark is the time that we're kind of looking for. Direwolves, I think, are going to be about 15 seconds north of that. But, hey, they're going to be able to make it past the first boss, which... Is this the first time we've seen them make it past this? I believe it is. Yeah, it'll be good for them. It'll allow them to get some practice. Legendary in the bottom right. We saw them have a wipe earlier. They've been slowly chugging away at this run. They may be able to put up like a 19-ish minute run, maybe even a little bit shorter, like an 18:30 or something like that, as Urquhart and Karaka start to dip a little bit lower. They did have a wipe. They've had anything but a perfect run, but overall they've been getting great practice, and they're starting to see the parts of the dungeon that we were talking about earlier that they absolutely need to see.
And also there's just that added little tiny dopamine boost of just putting a time on the board. Just being comfortable with having a time on the board and knowing that you know everything that needs to happen in the dungeon here. This is going to be a good push from here, actually. A good flying control from Karaka here. Even though Urquhart is already pushed here, they're going to get a little bit of free damage onto Karaka, so it will be at about that 50% mark by the time the phase actually starts. So they'll probably have to deal with the full 3 flame spits, but at least they should be able to beat the 4th here. Army of the Dead already popped from Tobo here. Combustion already active from Wexy. Actually going to be running out pretty soon, too. Oh, the first flame spits! What?
No.
What happened?
It was that overlap.
Shout plus flame spit on the first one?
Yeah, it depends on when you push the boss.
Oh.
Nice. Well, not bad.
At least it happened to them on a run that wasn't their best run, right? This wasn't going to be the one that was on the books for sure.
Yeah, I would, it's not great, but we saw the time that they were posting up. That was a practice run anyways, so they were just trying to get something. They weren't even necessarily trying to get something posted. They were trying to see through the end of the dungeon, and they did. For all intents and purposes, so everything was fine.
Talking about practice. Keep an eye on Direwolves here in the top right, though. They are going for a double destroyer pull. Again, for some reason, I haven't been paying attention to the teams when they get to this first pull to see if they're doing the double destroyer pull. This is the first confirmation that I've seen that teams are actually going for it. The fact that they're going for this on a 23 is pretty impressive. Look how close they are to that Shawcaster on the side when they're going for this pull. And the important thing to remember, Priest in the group, Mind Soothe. Look at the Inferno damage on the group. These didn't get nerfed. Oh, man. That's going to be a wipe for Direwolves. Jeez. Damage. And I wonder if... I didn't quite see, but 40 did no damage on this pull. I wonder if he died early on and just wasn't here for the initial part of the pull. That would make sense.
Well, he's not doing great damage. If you look at the damage meter, he's currently in 4th place, which... If you check the number of DPS in his group, there are only 3, so things are normally awry whenever you're in 4th as a DPS. And he was battling hard for 5th.
Oh yeah, Hollow was putting up a great fight there for sure.
It was a very tight race.
Yeah, that's actually something I want to watch back and see.
Dude, or 30 minutes ago, I think we mentioned that I was worried about Thunderstruck, and now we're rapidly approaching the part where they may be eliminated-ish. Not like they're actually going home, but it's like nearly impossible for them to come back.
Okay, yeah, I'm just watching this back now at the very start of the bowl before he gets the first living bomb while they're gathering things up. He just to that plus Cinderbolts. He died at the very start of the bowl, so.
To the Cinderbolts too?
Yeah, the fact that they almost killed that pull off, just being down a DPS with Army, you know, that shows just how doable that pull is. So okay, that's interesting. They're essentially doing MDI strat, right? It looks like double destroyer first, and you just kill off the 2 individual destroyers after, then you're on the second.
Cheese did try a double destroyer previously. It's hard, but apparently it's doable. Ooh, Legendary in the bottom right, getting a decent amount of Sanguine healing. Actually, these knocks are starting to look pretty good. They were getting some Sanguine healing on the small mobs. None of the big mobs have been Sanguine healed yet. And with Drakkar into that first pull, things are looking pretty good. If they're able to get Varys killed off. Okay. I like what I'm seeing from Legendary. Oh, are we playing this really safe? Are we killing Drakkar here?
They're playing it Omega safe.
Omega safe meaning they have
no
40% of the count 1 minute into the dungeon. Omega safe, by the way.
Omega safe.
Yeah, I think maybe our definitions of Omega safe might be a little bit different, but if somebody linked the route and it had the Legendary first pull in it, I would ask them to link the actual route.
That or you're just playing with
Yeah, maybe that would have been the case. And they didn't really watch out for healing the boss. We saw them Sanguine heal 10 million HP on this boss last time we were here. And as it currently stands, we need to really make sure that we get good knocks on these Earthshapers. Nice grip, I'm down for that. And the last Earthshaper is looking to be at like 4% HP, gets a nice bump from Blast Wave. We are vibing on the side of Legendary. Hey! They're going to be able to kill this boss so swiftly, too, because they don't have Drakkar on top of them. I think that this might be a sub 5 minute split, Tyro.
Potentially could be. Now, it is a 23 tyrannical boss, right? And they do have to spend cooldowns specifically on these Frost Overload phases, so the boss's HP is extended just a little bit past what the actual HP requires with that shield, right? But, you know, about 2.5 to 3 minutes has been what it's taking teams to finish off this boss. And yeah, pulling the boss at the 2 minute mark, you would expect them to be around the 4.5 to 5 minute mark, so we should see a new best split on this boss for Legendary.
Cheese doing in the bottom left. Looks like they're just tagging some of these mobs in late as they focus down Drakkar for a little bit. I think that, okay, so Direwolves aren't playing Drakkar in the first cooldown. Instead, what Direwolves do,
they are everything starting with it.
Yeah, they're not even starting with it. Instead, they take Drakkar into the first boss. Whereas both Cheese and Legendary so far have, okay, Legendary kills Drakkar and then pulls the boss. Whereas Cheese gets Drakkar to 20% and they're like, this is the appropriate amount of HP for me. And then they take that into the boss. It's really interesting to see the difference in strategies of how these teams are approaching this first area.
If you're trying to go as efficiently as possible, pulling the Drakkar into the boss, maybe like the 30 to 50% mark is probably the play, because it's going to lead down naturally by Fire Mage's Ignite. Just plus any
in the first pull.
The Feral and Unholy Damage, okay? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the first pull. And from the first pull damage too, right? Problems for Legendary on their pull. The Splat went down, they used the res on Splat, and then Lexi went down right after the fact as well.
Wait!
So it's going to be a reset from them.
I think that this just proves how difficult even the 23 Tyrannical boss is. We thought that playing it with Trash was hard.
Yeah.
And then we just wiped the boss solo. This dungeon is brutal.
We had the statistic yesterday for what the fastest live push time was for a 23 Tyrannical Ruby. Do we have that statistic for this dungeon as well? Like we had for
you're talking about the temple? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can find it.
I don't know if we've had that stat yet, but I definitely would be interested to see in what that is.
Yeah.
Well, while they get that ready for you guys, this is the end of my shift, and it's time for Makes to come back. So you guys get
Makes? Here?
I might have just tricked production into doing multiple things at the same time.
Is Makes muted? Well, no? Alright, it'll just be me by myself.
Test. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Here we go.
Oh, welcome, Makes.
Ah, there we go. Production trolling me. Thank you. But yeah, you know, I was watching, and I saw a message from someone that we might know in chat. I'm not sure if the name 40 rings a bell, Pebbles.
Semi-familiar with them, yeah.
Yeah. There was. I'm just gonna read it out.
Okay.
It's at WTS plus 23 Ruby Life polls in time. DM for info.
Well, I got terrible news for him. I don't know what the odds are of him being able to even complete the 23 Ruby Life pulls in time, because after having watched them frog the dungeon for a couple hours, got a fat 0. I don't know. I think the S part of that
So
involves
toxic.
completion, right?
How are you so toxic? What the heck,
Well, I'm just trying to protect the buyers of chat, okay? I'm a man of the people. I'm the people's champion, and so I'm trying to protect the buyers and let them know what they're getting themselves into.
Holy! All right, I have another fact for you. We just got told the fastest time on these affixes, and it's 23 minutes and 15 seconds as fastest team, and it's actually a team that includes Clicks, Gingy, and Mirith that put in that time.
Okay. Actually quite swift. I'm trying to find the fastest 23 in total. I've clicked through a lot of pages. I'm almost there.
Yeah, that is going to take a while, speaking out of experience, but I'm just checking the overall to see where we're at. So Cheese are back in, or still in that Ruby Life polls trying to fasten their route, and Legendary are also in that Ruby Life polls. Now, Thunderstruck looking to upgrade their temple. What are Wolves doing? Last time we saw them also in that Ruby.
They just wiped in the Ruby. Yeah, they may be on a break, but they've been progressing the Ruby Life pools. They haven't been trying to improve their time in Algothar Academy. Realistically, that's one of the dungeons. That and Temple of the Jade Serpent is something that they probably need to revisit at some point. But maybe actually just the Temple of the Jade Serpent. I don't even know if they need to revisit the AA anymore. But yeah, they've just been progging the Ruby. They haven't made it through the first boss yet.
They made it through the first boss. They just didn't make it much further. So we saw them put in a time at like 5:20 at Nolotrosa, which was not bad. But then chaos ensued from there when they tried to do the double destroyer just now, right?
Okay, well in the past hour and a half, I don't know if they made it through the first boss. But it's been a tough one for the Wolves. The first boss has been
They just
owning.
did though.
Wait, when? When was that?
And just right before I hopped on, they died to the double destroyer.
Oh, okay, well I'm trolling then.
Weren't you even talking about that? Like, you were part of this conversation.
Oh wait. Okay, so they made it through one time.
Yeah.
Okay, they made it. They made
But
it
that
through
was
once.
recent.
Legendary. Yeah, Legendary's made it through the first boss a couple of times, and Cheese has been the most consistent with the first boss.
Yeah.
It seems like Cheese are gearing up to put up a legitimate time in Ruby Life pools here in a moment. Not yet, but soon. Okay. I may have just made some stuff up in the past couple of minutes, but I will not make this one up. The fastest Ruby Life pools is a 21:35 by some Korean players.
All right.
It was on Tyrannical.
That's really
Forcing
fast.
Rebus. Yes, it was quite swift. Even still, our only Ruby posted right now with a full wipe, or actually we didn't even have a full wipe. 4 deaths and almost a wipe at the very end of the dungeon was 18 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, I'm looking at Thunderstruck, right? Thunderstruck, if they want a chance to get in the top 2 places, they need a better tempo time. There's no way around it. They're trying to do just that right now, but it's not looking too great. They pulled this boss with like 14:45 on the clock, which is already like over a minute slower than what Legendary put in earlier. But they might just slice off enough of their time to get back into competition with a Legendary. Now, they also still need to go into that Ruby Life Pulse, right?
Yes. See, this is the biggest concern for me. Is like, it's not necessarily the fact that they've been in Temple all day. It's looking at the other teams and how long they've taken to prog this Ruby Life Pools. That's where I'm like, oh goodness, Thunderstruck is in a tough position here. Their 12:28 split on Liu Flameheart is not awful. I don't even know, does that even take time off of their 17:22 previous test? That's what I'm really worried about. Like, how much time, if any, are they going to be able to even take off of this?
I think we're probably looking at 20 seconds at most, what they can shave off. So coming in around those 17 minutes. Just looking at what they have, right? They have one more soul phase right now, and then they still need to get through nearly half of the boss's HP, which is going to cost them some time. If I'm looking, I mean, we're going to get Army ready in like 5 death coils. I don't think Incarn's coming back up. We do have PI. Sure. Yeah, I mean, the seconds are wrong, so we need new measurements. But yeah, there it goes. Army's guy are being used. So now the boss should melt just a little bit more. But I mean, look at the timer. We're already down 16:45. Boss is melting, but it is going to come close to those 17 minutes, which is definitely not enough for them to kind of lock this one in, unfortunately.
The problem that I now see, okay, so 16:56, not that bad. There is a major issue where the top 2 teams right now have a 16:10 and a 15:24 in that dungeon. So you are still behind, nearly a minute behind the second place team, and you haven't posted a Temple of the Jade Serpent behind the first place team. And that's where I'm really concerned for Thunderstruck, at least that they're able to get that done though. And if they can make short work of this Ruby, they might have a chance, but with how long Prog has taken in this dungeon, it's going to be tough for them. Look at Legendary here. Now they're pulling this Destroyer.
Yeah, they have a really good Meladrosa time. So 5 minutes is very, very good. That's the fastest split on Meladrosa we've seen so far. And they now need to get through this trash here, but it's only going to be 1 Destroyer, right?
I've seen Cheese break 5 minutes, I think twice, but it's been like 4:58 or something like that, right? Like 4:55.
Okay.
And they didn't finish any of those runs. None of those runs, all of those runs died, but it was only like 2 seconds gained. So yeah, the 5 minutes is a great time. I'm not gonna complain.
All right, let's see how they can move on. 0 deaths on the timer for Legendary in the top left. Cheese, of course, are gonna go again. And in the bottom left, you're looking at the leaderboard. Now, we're still waiting for the Wolves. I think they're on break. But we are entering halftime, question mark, Devils.
Thunderstruck is in Shadow Moon with a 13:04.
That's their best dungeon.
I hate that. I hate it so much. And the reason I hate it is because shaving off 1 second in Shadow Moon is the same as shaving off 1 second in Temple of the Jade Serpent or shaving off 1 second in Ruby Life Pools, and we haven't even posted a time in Ruby Life Pools, so I'm really, really worried about why we are in Shadow Moon Burial Ground. Unless they are going to take 1 minute off of this timer. Okay, alright, please explain.
I'll try to explain. Just looking at our dungeons, the Shadow Moon Burial Grounds is the fastest key, right? So if you're looking to shave off time in any of the dungeons, then it's the smartest decision to try and shave off time in the Shadow Moon Burial Grounds, because you're going to get more runs out of that dungeon in the given time, right? You can potentially run more Shadow Moon Burial Grounds than you can any other dungeon. Now the question is, what do they think they can shave off? Having already posted the fastest time in here, we're going to see, I believe that's the same comp that they were running with the Shadow Priest and the Mage? Or were they running DK before?
They were playing this composition. They were playing exactly this comp.
Okay.
because that was something because Jay is both the DK player and the mid, so this is the same comp that we were playing, because the criticism of them has always been like, I wish we had both.
Yeah, that makes sense. I also wish we always had DK, so.
Caster Bias showing for the co-commentator.
I gotta have my unholy DK Francis back. Come on. You do the same for the Moonkins. I will hear none of it. But look at Thunderstruck Go. I'm really curious. I mean, we have the better Druids back in, which is the Feral, so.
Co-commentator taking slights at me. I don't know why.
I'm sorry. But yeah, Thunderstruck are back in it. They're definitely thinking that they can do something differently here, which is, we're going to keep an eye out for what's going on there. Legendary have pulled Kokia, so they should be getting on their way to get that boss killed off, and then we're going to see another split time out of them, which is really cool. Last time they progressed in this dungeon, they had a wipe at the final boss and didn't post a time, and it was only majorly a practice run, right? They were trying to figure out when they can pull what and how their damage timings are going to come around and what pulls are doable. So this time, this should be a more, how we're going to say, a more real attempt to put a good time in this dungeon.
A real attempt. This one for real. I think the time we're looking for here is about... The time we're looking for from here is about 12:30 or so. We know that if they put us like at 12:30 to 12-minute time here, Legendary are on a real attempt. And it's looking good. They have Kokia down to about that 50% mark. Of course, on a 23 Tyran, you have to, on this key level in general, you have to chew through a lot of HP from these adds, which loses you a decent amount of boss damage. But with the composition they're running, particularly with that Fire Mage, Fire Mage is able to dump his whole combustion into that ad, and you can kind of predict how much DPS you're going to need from the other players and then instead allocate it to the boss. I like this strategy that we're seeing from Legendary here about how they're kiting the boss around, and they're going to be ending up at that end gate. We saw Cheese doing something similar earlier, and I think that this saving so much time is going to be a pretty big time save, especially compared to something that you would do on live.
Yeah, speaking of Cheese, their Melodrissa time is really good this time around. They have 4 minutes 35 seconds. That's crazy fast. So we're gonna see how that is going to go here. But they came to fight this time around. I love that split.
Okay. We also know in their 18-minute run, they had around the 5-minute timer on the Melodrissa split. We also know they lost somewhere in the order of 40 seconds at the very end of the dungeon due to death to the flame spits. Legendary what?
Legendary.
Did you see what happened? I didn't see what they wiped to.
I did not, but I'll watch the replay. I want to say it was a curve, but we're gonna figure it out.
The boulder hit the curb.
Yeah, just whenever something goes wrong with Kokia Blazu, that's my first instinct, but we're gonna see whether or not that is correct in a few seconds, I think. They had the boss down, like, over half of her HP, so something must have gone, like, very wrong there. Either an interrupt, so that could also be, right, an interrupt that was missed, but my gut says it was a curve. We'll see.
Okay, in the bottom right, we saw Thunderstruck. They started the first boss of Shadow Moon, but I've also had a bit of a mishap, incurring a wipe and having to restart that dungeon. They currently have the best time at 13:04. It's hard to know how they're going to improve their time in here, though.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that ball just exploded in the face of Legendary. I just watched it back. It looked pretty sussy. So, Kokia was nearly dead. Then, unfortunately, everything went red.
Sussy boulder. Oh, I hate to see that.
Yeah, unfortunately. But that just means they can have another go and look really good, what we saw from them so far. So hopefully they can redo that. And Cheese also redid their run after having that really good split. I'm not really sure what happened over there. but I assume something went wrong with the trash pulls that they did. Maybe they pulled a dragon or something. Yeah, I think they got ink bite with the dragon. That's banned.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Well, we don't. There's a problem whenever you go too fast where you don't know where the dragon is going to be. So with Cheese here, their first boss split was, some would say, too quick, and then the dragon may have been in a weird spot. Now, this is a good problem to have because we can predict where the dragon is for future attempts, but it's not great to lose our 435 run.
But they are